I'm here in the crawl space today to demonstrate something I hope you don't have to deal with this winter. Hi, I'm Larry Parrish with Larry on the Level, and today we're going to talk about frozen pipes and how to prevent them and prevent the damage. The way you might know that you have frozen water pipes would be you go to turn on the faucet in the bathroom or kitchen sink and no water comes out. Another way you might know is you hear water running somewhere. Oftentimes when water pipes freeze, it damages and bursts the pipe, but you don't realize it until it thaws out and then starts to leak. In that case, it would be helpful for you to know exactly where your water shutoff is so you can shut it off to prevent further water damage until you can repair the pipe. It's not always obvious where the water shutoff is. In this case, I've located it here among this confusing array of pipes. This is the shutoff valve that shuts off the water to the entire house. This kind of valve turns off by rotating in a clockwise manner. An old saying is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So this turns off clockwise, make sure it's turned off firmly. There are other types of valves like this ball valve that shut off by turning it 90 degrees. It stops at 90 degrees. You know it's shut off because it's perpendicular to the water pipe. So on or off. You'll notice that this one here, for example, is in the off position. This is the water line that feeds the sprinkler system outside. It's already been shut off for the winter. After you've shut the water off, it's important to verify that you've shut off the right valve. So I recommend you go to a faucet in your house, a kitchen or a bathroom sink, and turn it on and make sure no water comes out. It's not always obvious where the water shutoff is, or in some cases there might not even be one in the home. Many of you will have water meters and a water meter pit somewhere outside the house, and that will often have a valve that lets you shut it off there. Let's go outside and demonstrate. If you can't locate the main shutoff for your house, your best option might be to use the shutoff inside the meter pit, which is typically located outside near your sidewalk or in your front yard. It's got an iron cover about a foot diameter. They have a bolt that's 5-sided, so a regular wrench won't allow you to open it, but a pair of vice grips should work nicely. So open it up, take it off, and you'll find the main shutoff valve inside, and a pair of vice grips again will allow you to shut it off. One common place for pipes to freeze is where they're exposed to outside cold air coming in. In this crawl space here, you see we've got this water pipe that's running right in front of an open outside crawl space vent. So it's common for crawl spaces to be vented. Vents are designed to be closed in the winter time. In this case, in addition to closing it, I'm going to stuff some insulation in the opening. And then we'll go outside and I'll show you how to close the vent from there. There also may be some small holes that can be plugged. It only takes a small hole for a lot of cold air to blow in right on a pipe and freeze it. So you want to look for any place that has an opening to the outside and close it up. Now let's go outside and I'll show you how to close the vent. There are all kinds of crawl space vent covers. Some covers don't close at all. Some hinge up in a different manner than this one. This one happens to slide. So I'll show you how this one, which is very common, closes as a slide motion just like that. One common source of frozen pipes is when you have a bathroom above a garage or a bathroom on a garage wall. So when the garage gets very cold, those pipes are susceptible to freezing. One thing you can do to minimize the risk is to make sure you keep your garage door closed. Even if it's an unheated garage, a closed garage can be as much as 20 degrees warmer than if the door is open. So don't forget to close your garage door. One common source of frozen pipes in the winter is outdoor faucets or sillcocks. Even a frost-proof sillcock can freeze if water's allowed to stand in the throat. The most important thing to do is to make sure that all of your hoses are disconnected. If your sillcock does freeze, you won't know about it until the first time you open it in the spring, and then you'll find out because it'll start flooding inside your home. If you're leaving town in the wintertime, never turn your heat off. Remember to set your thermostat between about 55 and 65 degrees so that you have a source of heat to keep the pipes from freezing. If you have multiple thermostats in the house, be sure to check them all for appropriate setting. And if you have an automatic setback thermostat, either disable the setback feature on the coldest days or be sure that it sets back in that 55 to 65 degree zone. The pipes that are most vulnerable to freezing are those that are on an outside wall, like the ones servicing this vanity. The best strategy to keep them from freezing is to get as much heat under the vanity to the water pipes as possible. The most important thing to do is to open the doors so that the heat from the room can get to the pipes. Also make sure that the heat registers in the room are open, and if you have forced air heat, that the door to the room is open so that heat can get in the room. Additionally, on the coldest nights, you can leave the water turned on to a trickle. The idea is to have a little bit of warm water always coming in. If you have separate hot and cold supplies, make sure that each one is open just a little bit to prevent freezing of both the hot and the cold pipes. If you have a single lever faucet like this one, set it to warm. You want to have just a trickle, but more than just a drip, drip, drip. But you don't want to have it on too much or you'll waste too much water. And make sure you leave it supervised. Don't turn it on and leave for a week. Just leave it on overnight when it's the coldest. Another thing you can do is to have a fan that you turn on that will blow air under there and keep the warm air in the area under the pipes so that they don't freeze. If in spite of your best efforts your pipes freeze anyway, be very careful how you go about thawing them out. Do not use one of these. Every year the Boulder Fire Department says several homeowners accidentally burn their homes down from using a torch to thaw the pipes out. Use a more gentle source of heat such as a hairdryer. Point it at the frozen pipes and move it back and forth slowly. Make sure that you've left the faucet in the on position, the open position, so that you can tell when the water starts to come out. Also review the emergency shutoff location just in case, because sometimes when the water starts to flow out, it doesn't necessarily come from where you want it to. You can also use a space heater if you're careful. Make sure that you aim it so it blows underneath the vanity or on the frozen pipes, and make sure also that you keep it away from combustibles so that it's not too close to something that can catch fire, and never leave it unattended. Remember the old saying about an ounce of prevention, and be prepared. Here's hoping your water stays in its pipes all winter.